Hello friends, it's Mandy Van Havermont with Mandy Stampin' Mania, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up from Gray Eagle, Minnesota. And I have a really fun and quick technique today to share with you using the Soft Pastels from Stampin' Up. These are, I'm going to be honest with you, they intimidated me, but I have found the coolest card that somebody shared with me and I want to share it with you. It's using the Watercolor World background stamp. So let's get at it. First things I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper and I'm going to pull out some of my pastels, and I'm going to use the putty knife or the flat part of my take your pick tool. So I'm going to grab my blue out, the purple, the Coastal Cabana, I'll try to use the real names, right? Granny Apple Green, the Poppy Parade, and I think I'm going to use the Mango Melody. You can use the Daffodil Delight or the Mango Melody, whichever you decide. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some powder off. So I'm just going to use my putty knife end and just scrape off a little bit. And I'm going to do that with all of my pastels that I'm going to use. And the pastels have been around for a couple of years. But like I said, they're a little bit intimidating, but this is by far the coolest way that I have found to use them. So we just need, it depends on how much you're going to be doing, how much, that one's not scraping off. There we go. It wasn't going through. How much powder you're going to need, how much pastel. I'm going to do a few cards here because I'm making thank you cards for some class attendees from this previous week. So, and really this makes a pretty quick card and it makes a wow card. And that's what I am all about, are wow and simple. So, and you would not need to do this many colors. I just really like the rainbow look that this gives to me. So I've got my powdered, or my pastels kind of scraped off there. I'm going to pull in my Stamparatus, and I've already got my stamp mounted on my Stamparatus. And then I'm going to pull in a panel of basic white. And my panel of basic white is just a regular 4 by 5 1/4 panel. So I've got my corner marked here where I'm going to put it. So I'm just going to set my card base up in that corner. And then I'm going to take my Versamark ink and ink up my stamp. And I should also tell you, you're going to need sponge daubers, one for each color. And I've been working on this. I've made a few cards already, but as I was doing it, I was having so much fun. I'm like, I need to put this on video. You guys need to see this. So that's why we're here. All right, so I'm going to stamp this directly down onto my card panel. So it's just Versamark on the basic white. And I didn't use the embossing buddy. I didn't feel like I had to, because this isn't embossing necessarily, like heat embossing. So, but just get a nice, good impression of your stamp. All right, so there we have it, and you can't really see because it's clear, but I'm going to move that out of the way. And so now what I'm going to do is create my rainbow effect. So I'm going to start with the purple down on the bottom. And I'm just going to dab it on there. And you got to work a little bit fast because otherwise your Versamark will dry out on you. But just get a little bit of that powder on your sponge dauber. This Watercolor World stamp, when it came out, I was so excited. My husband and I and my family, we really like to travel, and we're not world travelers, but we're definitely travelers of the United States, and but just geography and all of it. So I was really really excited for this stamp. I think it's just very classy, and there's lots of potential for this stamp. So if you want to, you can tap it off every once in a while and see if you're missing some. Like right there, it's a little lighter than I maybe would like. Maybe I missed that spot. then we're just going to go with the Bermuda Bay. And no two of these cards are going to look identical, just because it's kind of an abstract kind of look, right? And I love that look. I think that's so much fun. But to kind of blend it in a little bit, maybe, I did miss some of my, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Keep going, take some of the Granny Apple Green. Dab that on there. And this you could do with lots of different stamps too. A lot of the thicker, bolder stamps are the ones that work best with this technique. So like some nice bold flowers, those would look like thicker line area, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just really love how this turned out. I think it is just like the neatest technique. And when my friend taught it to me, I was like, oh, that's so cool. All right, and the last one is the Poppy Parade. Gotta get Alaska and Canada. Is that not the funnest looking card ever? So neat. Oh, I forgot to grab a card base. Okay, now here's where, so I don't trust this. It's going to smudge a little bit. So I found a solution for that. I take just regular hairspray. It's the hairspray I had in my cabinet, and I'm just going to give it a light spray. Not over that though. Literally, that's all I did. And it curls for a second, but as it dries, it's going to lay flat. I'm going to grab a card base here that is black. Look at that, I have one cut. Okay, so I'm just going to let that, I need to put a score mark in this quick. So just a basic card base, 5.5 by 8.5, score down the middle at 4 1/4. See, it laid flat. So don't worry, I feel much better about having that that hairspray on there just to hold that chalk pastel down. So basic card here, I'm just going to mount that right onto there like that. And then, like I said, it was a thank you note, or will be a thank you note. Here's the beauty of sentiments, right? If there's a spot that you're not really loving, like I'm just not loving this spot right here, I'm going to take my sentiments. So I've got a scrap of basic white, and this thank you comes out of the Something Fancy stamp set. Very cool stamp set. Love all the fonts. It's really good. It's got sympathy, it's got wedding, it's got birthday, it's got thank you, it's got everyday occasions. Great stamp set. All right, and I've got my Memento black ink. So just a basic thank you. We'll put it in this corner like that. Okay, and I'm going to use a circle punch. I know that this is not a current item. However, I think all of us have, or a lot of us have, circle punches and circle dies and just a basic shape. Any shape will do. So I'm going to grab some dimensionals. These are my leftovers from my paper pumpkin. Take a few of those. And like I said, I didn't like that spot right there. I'm going to cover that up. Nobody has to know. I could cover up part of Australia too. Press harder on that side. That's the moral of the story. So just like that. You can't even see my little goober. So there is my card. My friend called this Poppin' Pastels technique. I don't know if that's what it is called, but that's what I'm calling it. I think it's fantastic. And like I said, you could use any stamp set and use the pastels. And these will just, the chalk will just wash right out of those, and you'll be able to use those another time. So all the links to all of this are down in my description. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you so very much for watching. Bye-bye.